Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Zomlando Buthelezi. Thank you once again for joining me. And for my first timers, I welcome you. I welcome you to the ultimate experience. Yeah, and today we will be, I feel like today it's going to give a lot of us some like a pat at the back, you know, because most times when we go through things, we always think that like God is against us or we are being punished for something. But I want us to just like reflect on our journeys and just like introspect as to what each and every experience in our lives, um, why it happened, and what was the reason, and what was the lesson. Because we don't take L's, to be quite honest, but we don't take any losses. I believe that any experience, whether good or bad, is there for enjoyment. And if it's not there for enjoyment, then it's there to teach us a lesson. And today I am going to be sharing my story as to how God used unemployment to sort of like instill stillness in me and within me, you know. And I do not want this video to be interpreted as sort of like a celebration for unemployment, you know, because unemployment is such an issue. In South Africa, it's a socio-economic issue that needs to be tackled because we have so many graduates and so many skilled people at home doing nothing because there are no job opportunities. So I just want to clear that out, that this video is not to celebrate unemployment, but it's just to articulate that God used unemployment to instill stillness and to teach me to be still and be present, you know. I believe that I'm a very motivated person. Um, I have dreams. I have visions for my life just like any other person, you know. And there is or there was some sense of like control, of wanting to like control every single thing that happens in my life. And God was like, you know what? I might have to slow you down, you know. I might have to just like put you in a room where it can only be me that can open and shut the door, you know. So yeah, guys, as I told you on the last video, if you have not watched the last video, please go back and watch that and come back. But I told you guys that I found God after a breakup. And when I was going through this breakup, I was unemployed at the time. It was 2021. Yeah, I finished school or varsity for my undergrad in 2019. And then in 2020, I've been like in and out of the workforce due to like temporary contracts. And then 2021, when I was going through this breakup, I found God. And at the time, as I said, I was unemployed, you know. So God in that time was just like it was a lot that was happening at once, you know. And I felt like God was doing that intentionally to sort of like alienate my alienate me from the world, alienate me from social groups that I had at the time. He did that to alienate me from the hustle and the bustle of the world, you know, because I'm always a person that will is in search of the next. I will achieve something today and I'm already thinking as to what I will be doing tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? So at the time, God was like, you know what, you need to sit. You need to sit in the waiting room where it's just gonna be me and you. And to those who have not been through unemployment, let me tell you something about unemployment. Unemployment is a socio-economic issue where we find that there are no job opportunities. You know, the economy is not accommodating the graduates or the skilled laborers at the time. So because there are no job opportunities, we as graduates and individuals, we find ourselves in unemployment. It is depressing. It is depressing. It heightens anxiety because you're constantly finding yourself worrying about tomorrow, worrying about, oh my God, am I gonna get an email? Am I gonna be interviewed? Am I going to be invited for an interview? Excuse me, is this gonna happen? It depresses you, it heightens your anxiety, um, it leaves you broke. It leaves you broke. You find yourself like, because you have no work, obviously there's no pay, so you are broke. You are depending on people. That alone is just like, that alone is just depressing on its own. Depending on people, asking money from people, it strips you of your dignity, your humanity as a human. It's so inhumane, you guys. Like, just unemployment is so inhumane. It can really just like degrade you as a person, as a human. um Sometimes you lose respect from people around you, maybe family, relatives, friends. It's just the reality. It's a lot. And going through that, I was really just like, at the my anxiety was at the peak, because I was just like, you know what, I'm motivated, I graduated, I've done everything, so like, why are things not aligning? Why are things not working out the way I want them to? Because I've planned my life. I was one of those people that, like, okay, I graduate at 21, I get a job, I move out of home, I get married at 25. I had this life plan that was just like, and God was like, no, no, let me switch it up for you. Let me switch it up and tell you that, like, I'm the author of your life. And one thing I've gotten to realize is that really God is the author of our lives. We're just actors. We have been placed here on earth to act the story that God has written for us. We have been put on earth to worship God and also to fulfill His will and purpose. Whether we agree with that will, whether we think it's unfair or fair, but at the end of the day, we have been called, we have been created to worship God and to fulfill His purpose and His will. So, me having these life plans for my life and thinking that life will go according to my plans, God had to intervene and tell me that, like, I'm not the girl that I think I am. I'm not the girl that I think I am, bruh. And He sat me down, and in that season or waiting period, I learned to be still. I learned to not anticipate the future, not in a weird way, but like, I learned to live in the present and not think much about the future, or not think much or worry about the tomorrow. Because, like I said, I'm that person that is always chasing the next. I'm that person who's always just like wondering, if I achieve something today, what will I achieve tomorrow? What will I focus on tomorrow? So my life has been based off just ticking off my bucket list. Like, it has been about just like ticking off this bucket list that I created for myself. And I found that, like, in everything that I did, it was godless. It was there was no real intention behind it. You know what I'm saying? That there was just like no intention behind it, but to just like achieve and just be this individual that I I dream of becoming. And what is the intention? What is the reason? Because when God spoke to Abraham, I'm sorry to just be bringing in the word, but I have to, because right now we are talking about the will and the purpose and just walking in alignment with God's will, you know. He said, I will bless you and you will be a blessing to others, you know. So me, I didn't have that thing of like I'm achieving things or I'm working towards something because I want to be blessed and be a manifestation of what God's glory looks like, and I want to be a blessing to others. It was just like mainly about me. It was mainly just satisfying myself. It was mainly about priding myself in my achievements. Yeah, I was just selfish and selfless in everything that I did, that God had to drop something in my life so that I can stop, so that I can stop and sort of like ask for guidance, and more than anything have a revelation of what life is really about, you know. And most of the times we think life circumstances or bad things, they 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 are there to punish us. They happen because maybe we are not doing enough. And it's never about, maybe God just wants me to learn something from this. Maybe God wants to make me still so that I can really hear clearly his voice and what he's trying to say to me. And I was not going to stop. I was not going to stop being selfless, being selfish, being priding myself in my achievements and doing things just to do things. I was not going to stop. And God figured a way to make me stop, to make me stop and just live in the present, be still, and learn stillness, you know. And I think within that waiting period or during that time of unemployment, because right now I am blessed to be working, even though it's on a temporary contract, but I'm working, you know, but that's why I'm using the past tense. So in that time, I also was put in a waiting season so that I can have a revelation of what life is about, that I have not come here on earth to satisfy my desires. I have not come here on earth to take off things off of my bucket list. But I've came on earth and I've been put here on earth by God to do his will and to worship him. And worshiping God is not just like putting on a gospel song and just singing along. Worship comes in many forms. Worship comes with singing, giving praises to God. Worship comes through actions because faith without works is dead. Worship comes through actions, how you live your life, how you lead your life. And now when you enter or when you become a child of God, it's not really about you, it's about people seeing God through you. So that's why every day we should strive and pray to be like Jesus so that Jesus can manifest through us and others can see that, okay, cool, she's a child of God, and her actions tell that she is a child of God. The way that she lives her life tell that she is a child of God. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that like everything that happens or that has happened in my life, it may have taken me a while to understand because I was so angry. I was depressed. I was anxious. I was just like asking myself, like, what's going on? Like, why me? Why me? And you know what I'm saying? Like, why me? But that thing happened to teach me stillness, and more than anything to give me revelation that I've not come here on earth to fulfill my desires, but I've came here on earth to fulfill God's will. And also the waiting season, or me being alienated from everything through unemployment, it it grew me. It really grew me. It taught me to be wise. It it taught me to be wise more than anything. And now, and also it taught me to be grateful. You get me? You get me? Imagine being in that space of unemployment and having no money in your bank account, waking up and seeing people go to work, they have something to do with their lives. People are taking trips because they have to spoil themselves because they work hard. You're just like looking at other people living life, and you're stuck in the space of being unemployment. You have no money, you are depressed, your anxiety is on a high, um, you have nothing going on for your life. Yet that draining period, or that thing that I thought was negative happening to me, it taught me to be grateful. It taught me to appreciate the little things. And there's nothing wrong with just like asking for more, because there's nothing wrong with asking for more, but I feel like I was asking for more. I was constantly wanting more, but I was never in the moment. I was never in the present to actually take time to be like, Lord, I thank you for this, for the today. Lord, I thank you for the blessings of today. Yes, I want more. Yes, I strive to achieve more. Yes, I see myself doing more. But I thank you for the today. I was never that person. I was never that person. And I'm not gonna lie, I was never that person. I was just a person just like constantly chasing, wanting, desiring for more. But I never took the time to actually thank God for the moment, for the present, and and for the today. Unemployment taught me that. Even though I was going through, all hell was breaking loose, but unemployment taught me to be grateful. It taught me to thank God for the littlest things that I had, or they were going on in my life. So now I'm thinking, how does a negative life circumstance, or a negative life event brought about all these good things, the wisdom, gratitude, a heart filled with gratitude, um, growth, more faith? How did that happen? And I'm reminded by by Joseph. I think it's Genesis chapter 50, verse 20. I won't quote it correctly, but it's where he says the enemy meant it for the bad, but God meant it for good. You know, most things, as much as like the enemy will try to like throw things at us, but somehow God knows how to flip the script. God knows how to make things that are bad and negative and dehumanizing to us work in our favor. And to be quite honest, it's really awkward and weird to really sit here and be like, unemployment taught me how to be human. It taught me stillness. It taught me to be grateful. It taught me to live in the moment. It also taught me to let go. You feel me? It taught me to let go and not and and not try to be in control of every single life detail, and not try to be in control of every event in my life, because at the end of the day, we did not create ourselves. Because we did not create ourselves, as much as like we can have this vision and prayer board or vision board for what we want our life to look like, but at the end of the day, God is going to God. God is going to God, and he'll come through and show you that like, yo, at the end of the day, I'm the main character. I'm just using you as the instrument. I'm just using you as a tool to worship me, and as a tool to fulfill my purpose. It's crazy. It's really crazy how life will life. That's the that's the term. How life will life. But when it's all said and done, there is a lesson and never a loss through God. There is never a loss. And you will think that, like, I felt like, oh my God, I was out of the workforce for like a year or two or whatever. Maybe there's someone watching this and they are currently unemployed, or they currently have no stream of income, and they're thinking, okay, but like, why me? Why me? And am I not doing enough? What's going on? And sometimes those things happen for God to plant a lesson, and for God to increase our wisdom, and for God to make us resilient. And I don't know who needs to hear this. And it may not be unemployment specifically, but it may be a life circumstance that you're currently dealing with, and you're wondering, you're questioning yourself that, like, okay, but like, why is this thing happening to me? I pray, I fast, I'm da da da, I'm doing this and that. You have to understand that, like, there's time for everything. There's time to be happy, there's time for joy, and there's time for life to life. And just because we are in God or we are in Christ, to be specific, does not mean that life will not life, but it will give us that assurance that whatever happens, God will be with us within that fire, and will come out having no scars, having no bends, because God will cover us through that situation. So, to be quite honest, I'm not praising unemployment. I'm not saying that unemployment is a desirable state of being, but I'm just trying to highlight the lesson that came through me finding myself in the state of being unemployed, you know, that as much as like it was a demeaning, dehumanizing, depressing time of my life, God intervened, and God used that period in my life to make me better. God used that period of unemployment to give me a revelation that I'm here to mainly worship Him and to fulfill His purpose. God used unemployment to teach me stillness and the power in being present in the present. I don't know. I don't know. What is something that what is something that has happened in your life, and you look back at it now, you're like, okay, cool. There was a reason behind that. It didn't happen just for it to happen, but there was a lesson, and you grew through that thing happening in your life. Comment down below and let's chat, let's engage. It may not be unemployment specifically, it might be other things. Maybe your mom being sick, it may be this or that. Tell me, what is the lesson that you got off of that period in your life? Guys, I'll see you guys on the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys watch this video and realize that, like, not everything happens in your life to break you, but some things happen to give you a lesson. Some things happen to better you. Some things happen to give you